This afternoon, we're visiting Ray Huntus in his house, and Ray has lived in Nipigon all his life, so he has lots of stories to tell. But we've asked him first to talk about his time on the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe when you first started, Ray, and how you got involved in the fire department.
I was always interested in that fire department deal there in 1959. That's when I joined. And I went through the ranks all the way from lieutenant to captain to deputy chief and finally fire chief. And I retired in 1990 because I had a change in my life. And it got to the point that I wanted to do other things.
So how many years then were you on there?
30.
30 years,
yeah.
Right, okay. So maybe you want to tell us maybe some changes you saw from when you first started, or some of the people that you worked with?
Rolly LaFramboy and I, we had 2 Scott Air Packs, and Rolly and I were delegated to do the Scott Air Packs. We only had 2 extra bottles, so we were very limited into what we could do. But I understand now they got a fully complement. They got compressors to fill up your bottles, which is excellent thing. They extended to the fire hall, got more room in there.
Right.
And there was a letter, what do you call it, our club rooms are upstairs. We had a bar for after a hard-fought fire needed a beverage to kind of go. I've seen 5, 6 people burnt to death, which is not a pretty sight, and I can remember them to this day. And it's not one of my favorite memories, but it's still there.
Right.
And yeah, we got more equipment and stuff like that, and built a new fire hall. Years before that, we had Friskin owned a little building in a corner. They tore that down and they built a new fire hall.
Oh.
And one thing that we bugged us was the railroad. And there's a trains across there and the fire on the other side. We used to go underneath the bridge and up that way. But yeah, it was a good deal. There's a lot of good people in there. It wasn't organized until George O'Neill was the first fire chief. And he got elected reeve of the town. He stepped down and Dick came. Dick was one of the longest serving fire chiefs in the province of Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
And then I joined in 1959 and 1990. That's when I packed it in, so to speak. I had a change in my life, so I figured I'm going to devote myself to something else. However, meanwhile, back at the ranch, we had a good crew. When I was fire chief, I used to evaluate each man individually as far as their families are concerned. And no, I used to delegate different things for different things. Everybody has their own talents, and I evaluated their talents according to the person. If, for instance, there was a death in the family, that person did not you could push aside. Our alcohol was one of our things, and I stayed away many times because I had alcohol on my breath. And being an officer, if I made a judgment call and they smelled alcohol on my breath, we'd be sued. In this modern day and age, that you just don't do that. Yeah.
I suppose that was one of the downfalls of just being a volunteer department. You got called at the last minute.
Yeah.
So if you'd been out partying the night before and you got called, you're right. That really put lots of people in jeopardy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it did. Yes. I stayed home many times because I had a drink or something like that. I just wouldn't go away for that simple reason.
Mm.
I made each individual firefighter, I took at their families. I kept 3 books, one at home, one in my vehicle, and one at the fire hall. Because you never know. I've been in front of the post office there, and people asked me questions when I was chief. I answered them, and if I didn't have an answer for them, I went back to them. One person, we had children at the fire hall there one day, and I made a statement which was wrong. The little boy went home, told his father. The father questioned me, and I says, I did. And he said, that's what my son told me. I said, no, that's wrong. Up till then, I was lecturing what I knew with the fire department in Toronto, Department of, I forget the name of it is now, which runs the fire department. Anything you want is phone call away. So I made some phone calls. And I got mail like you wouldn't believe. And everything I wanted there, I based all my lectures on the mail, because I had something to back me up. And we were at the school there one day, and all the kids were excited with the fire truck. And we pumped the water on there, and one of the teachers was there. One of our fellows took the hose and washed the teacher down, which was a delight for all the students. They cheered and they laughed, and the teacher was very, very receptive there. And she went up to, I won't mention the name of the firefighter because he's gone. And they had a little the wire hose, and everybody just enjoyed it. And next time we went to the schools, are you going to do that again? No, we're not going to do that again, because it's legalized, the legal stuff. We used to do the schools. We went to school one time, and Dick was in the chair, and we walked in there, pulled the alarm. Everybody went out, and I went through the school, and there's one class down the basement of the old school. It was still down there. Forget the name of the teacher down there. He turned out to be a real good friend of mine. I told him, I said, I hope you realize that there's going to be a funeral in town. And he says, why? I says, all you people. The school's on fire. Didn't you hear the alarm? They never heard the alarm. The alarm down the basement didn't work. So they got that thing fixed up there. But the kids, they really enjoyed that stuff. And a lot of times we got called out. Like I said, I got 3 sets of books, because you never know when you're answered. I made a mistake once and I was called on it. Consequently, Fire Marshal's office in Toronto, anything you want, just a phone call away. I got Frank Wheeler was the town clerk. I got a phone call from him one day. He said, I got a phone bill for $16.18 in the fire hall. What's going on? So I said, I phoned Thunder Bay, I needed some information. I talked to their chief and their deputy chief and their training officer, 3 different things. I got all the information I wanted. And then we started talking about the weather and, stuff like that. We just got carried away. And Frank just shook his head, and that was it. I had a good rapport with the town office. I went down there, and all the staff was excellent. No problem at all. Anything I wanted was there. And it was a good time. But like I said, some people burnt to death, and that's one thing you never forget.
So I just was listening to the radio today about Fire Con in Thunder Bay. Did firemen in your early days go anywhere to be trained, or how did you train them, right?
Thunder Bay, they had a fire school there, and we sent certain guys. I went up there twice myself, and they had all their equipment out there, and they taught us how to run it. They had just a brand new ladder truck, and I was up there with Jimmy Kay. And he wouldn't go up on the ladder, but I went up on a ladder, and you're 30, 40 feet up in the air, and that thing swings around like this, and you see the panoramic view of the whole city. It was really beautiful. But Jimmy was, at that time, was scared of heights, and he would not go away. And Jim was one of the, I used to evaluate my firefighters on their balance, on their families, and their stuff like that. And alcohol, I stayed away. And if there's an alcohol, a couple of times we had a firefighter, I won't mention their names because they're passed on. they come in there under the influence of alcohol. I sent them in back in the truck or sent them home. I got called once. I had a firefighter, we had a trailer fire. And the trailer fires are rough, because they're laminates and all that type of stuff. He went in there and he came out, he checked around for people, and there's nobody in there, he hacking on the coffin. I told him 3 times to go to the hospital. He refused. So Dick was in the chair. The following meeting we had, I called him into the office and I told him, I said, this guy fellow is one of my top firefighters, I can trust him. However, and I told him, I said, when he hacked and coughed and spit, I told him to send him to the hospital. He refused to go. I said, I want it in the books, I want it recorded, exactly what happened. If something comes in the future, or he gets any health problems, lungs or like that, that he's been warned and this type of stuff.
Wow.
I was, I got to be, well, personally involved with all these people. I knew their families, I knew their kids, I knew their things. I made that my point. And if somebody had any family problems, I either sent them home or didn't put them on the front lines. You chose your people. There's a lot of people, firefighters, they joined and they wanted to serve for the thing. And there's several people there that had health problems. I had always there in the back of my mind, and I kept them. You know, they were good firefighters, but I always had that big but in there. Mm-hmm. But anyway, 30 years in that thing, and I figured I got enough for my. I was starting to lose concentration. I was starting to lose because I met a young lady at the second time in my life. Well, we won't go into that.
But you served your time in it for Nipigon for sure,
yes.
As all firefighters do.
Yes.
Even today, they're putting their lives on the line as well. And I think for me, the worst one was the plywood mill fire. That was a real devastation.
Yes.
Even though we lost the places downtown as well, I think that was a very dangerous situation.
Yes.
And you said you went to watch it as a spectator down there then.
Yeah. And I got a phone call, 2-3 weeks after the fire, plywood mill. And we wouldn't identify himself, but he asked me, are you a retired fire chief? I said, yes, I am. And were you at the fire? I said, yes, I was down there. I went down with Grant Williams, and we just stood there. And he says, how did they do it? Didn't they do this and didn't they do that? I says, I have no idea. I wouldn't commit nothing because it was insurance. I found it was insurance people. And I wouldn't commit nothing. He wouldn't give no names, no nothing. But I found out later that he made other phone calls to other people. And we had a little discussion. The Legion was an excellent place for discussing stuff. And I understand it's only 3 days a week now. When I was the fire department there, I did everything I could to make myself better and stuff. I used to read all the books. I got all the. One phone call to Toronto. I got a phone call from the office in the town office there one day, Ron Lannigan phoned me. We got some stuff for you from Toronto. Okay. They had 3 thick envelopes of stuff. And that stuff I requested. And I said, I made a few phone calls. And I said, that's all it took to go to Toronto. Excellent people in Toronto. Fire marshal's office, stuff down there. Anything you wanted was there.
Right.
And you just had to know who to talk to and whether. I talked to one girl on there whose father was a firefighter just outside of Sudbury. And we were on a first name basis. And I'd phone down there and I'd ask for her. And she'd come on, oh, Ray, how are you? You know, how's the family? You know, it's good. Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
And that makes you feel really good and stuff like that. Yeah. And then 30 years in the fire department, I figured I had enough. I wanted to get out.
I think in your day too, you seem to have an easier time of getting firefighters today because people are working away so much. They have a harder time keeping people for a long time.
A lot of our guys worked in Red Rock.
Right.
And Red Rock was good. We had an accident on the other side of the bridge. And there's 4 firefighters that worked. We stayed there 24 hours. That's when, remember, they blocked the highway there. And whatever that transport truck rolled over, it was a tanker truck. And I made a phone call. Neil Sagers was a personnel manager. I made a phone call. I said, these people work in Red Rock. They didn't go to work last night because of the fire. And kindly, give us a little chance. Don't charge them with anything. And oh no. It's just they were out. Everybody. The Bill Red Rock is really good to us, all the way around.
Yeah, that's very good.
Good place to work.
Yeah, it's a little bit different ballgame now, I think. When you were even talking about the accelerants that there are in homes today.
Lots
of times that.
Yeah. We used to get a magazine from the fire department there, and you get these hairsprays. You don't smoke and you spray hair at the same time because its propellant is higher stuff. And simple little things like that. Simple little things.
Okay, well, I think that really covers your time on the fire department, and thank you very much.
You're quite.
This is part 2, talking to Ray. He talked about the fire department now as a person born in Nipigon and of Finnish descent. I thought maybe he could give us a little bit of information on early life here, and especially with his family, who did a lot of building around town.
Yeah. My dad was a carpenter, and he had a pretty good reputation. He built a school in Cameron Falls. He went to Marathon, put the school up there, and a lot of stuff. Everybody thought I'd be a good carpenter, but I did not follow in my father's footsteps. I couldn't put a nail down without pointing my fingers. But my dad and my family, my mother used to work in Nipping Cafe with dishwasher down there when the Kustinens had it there. And my dad he had a good reputation. I was sitting there one day at my mother's place. This fellow walked in and I knocked on the door and he says, "Is Otto Huntus home?" I says, "No, he's downtown." The Banning brothers had a hardware store downtown. I said, "He's probably down to Banning's store. He's getting some stuff there." And did he build a school in Cameron Falls? I said, yes. I said, did he work in Marathon? Yes. He wanted, what do you call a contractor from Thunder Bay. He wanted my dad to work for them. And my mother was sitting there, they had supper time, my sister and I, and 4 of us having supper. My mother says to my dad, he said, "That guy could talk to you." "Yeah." "He wanted me, if I can't build a house in Red Rock, or Cameron Falls, and built a house, or church in Marathon." And I said, my mother said, "You can't talk English. I mean, how can you understand English?" My father used some profane language, and said that I told him I built everything that way. And my mother says, "You didn't say that." My sister and I died laughing. He said, "That's how you could talk to the English people, because they don't understand stuff." So, yeah, he had a good reputation. He built this house, and I can remember the cement floor, poured the cement floor down the basement, and it was a lot of water on it. And my dad said, "Keep an eye on it, go down there every half or every hour, figure what time of night it is, because you got to smooth it, And I fell asleep. Pat woke me up. He said, "Your father's coming down the driveway." So he went downstairs. It was too late. So he had to tap it, put water on it and tap it, fix it all up. That's why I got cracks in the basement floor. But my father was a well-respected carpenter. Yeah. But I got most of his tools And if he was alive today, and all the electric tools, the saws we had, you'd never get him out of the garage. He had a heart attack in June, and we took him to the hospital and everything else. What's the name of the doctor was here?
Sittlinger,
No.
Summerly,
No.
Harvey.
Harvey. Dr. Harvey was here. So anyway, I went home one day and I found my dad in the garage and he was sweeping up. I took the broom away from him and I said, "You're not supposed to. You take your life easy, don't do nothing." And then I phoned Dr. Harvey and I told him what's going on, and he started to laugh. He says, "Leave him alone. He knows what he's doing." And we went hunting that fall. But I used to follow him. And I was afraid, eh? And all of a sudden he caught me one day. He gave me heck. He says, I'm okay, leave him alone. I phoned Harvey again. He told me, just leave him alone. But still, keep an eye on him, you know. Yeah, he had a good reputation around town for carpentry work.
I often think carpenters like your dad, even my dad, would be amazed at the battery-operated tools today, Ray.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because your dad would be of the era where everything was by hand.
Oh, yeah, everything was by hand, yeah. And I got his planer. It's down the basement. And it's, I forget the name of it now, but they don't make them anymore. The company's even out of business. It's a 6-inch jointer. Then I bought myself a little thickness planer and stuff like that. I got a little shop down the basement. Summertime in the garage, wintertime and everything. I got a 80 alarm saw in the garage and we went down the basement. So I like mucking around until, well, that finger there is from baseball there. My grandchildren, I put my hands flat on the table like this and this stands up like that. What happened to your finger? I said, your mother hit me. And your mother, like my wife, Pat. I did not. That's baseball. I got a glove on this hand and a ball on this side. Right end of the finger, it puffed right up the joint. But it's,
so while you're talking about ball, maybe tell us a little bit about some of the sports and things that went on when you were younger than here.
We used to play ball at, just to pick up games. But curling was my deal. I went down to curling. The firefighters curling, Dave Banning, Joby Gentile, Rolly LaFramboy was the firefighters team.
Right. We
went to Thunder Bay and we went to Geraldton and never got past Thunder Bay. And we were supposed to go to, oh Christ, here we go again. And we never got that far because we didn't get out of the club. One year, there was 4 different divisions in the club. We won the 3 of them. We won the grand aggregate, and we missed out on one, the first 20. And Paul Baxter was MC at our banquet there. And he did all kinds of things, and Joby Gentile Ring won this one, and Joby Gentile Ring won this one, and Willie Silta won the other one. Then the grand aggregate, he put his head down on the table, guess who? And we did that. I got trophies on the boxes and down the basement there. And we had a curly sweater from the big firefighters stuff. My son Larry was a firefighter in BC. I gave him the sweater, so it's in his closet.
So you must have curled at the first curling club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the bartender there. I looked after the bar. And the bar, in them days, you lean up against the door, you'd fall in there. This one here, we couldn't leave nothing there. I took all the whole stuff that I had, but Gordy Dick and what's the name? It was the liquor store managers down here. And we had bonspiels virtually every week, and ladies' bonspiels, men's bonspiels, stuff like that. Or curling club. The new one was really, and the old one was really active. And I was the head bartender there. I used to bring back the full stuff. and they got all the paperwork in. And they told me, don't bring it back, just we'll knock it off the rest. I'll knock it off the rest. I had about $1,000 worth of booze on the basement there. And certain people in town found out about that. Sunday mornings, knock on the door, come in there. I put the coffee on. I said, I had my own stock. So I bought that out there. But you have something down the basement, I said, yeah, but it's not mine. It belongs to the curling club. Yeah, well, they won't know. I said, they would know. But I would know. And that's the only thing that matters. It's this. I just refuse to take them down to it. I was, there's some profane languages. I was a result of some of them. Yeah. Because I refused to give that thing.
So were you involved in the building of the new curling club?
Yeah. Dave Banning and I, we were on a firefighters team. So he come over one day and I left booze on the basement when the curling season was over. So what I'm going to do with all this booze? Rose Gillen was the manager of the liquor store. I got a hold of Ro. I said, got all this stuff here. She says, bring it down, just the full bottles. And no, well, credit you with the curling club for that. I said, okay, fine. I went down there, and there's certain people that like gin. And I had a special bottle for them. And I was down there looking at this bottle. The gin bottle had a aluminum cork. And it was one of those things that, you'll drink it, you've ruined it. So here I am, half a bottle of gin and a half a bottle of rum. So I poured it into the thing, because I knew I wouldn't bring it back in. So I had this thing here. And I kept it there, and I took everything else, cleaned up everything else. I had this bottle of gin, I put it in my own liquor cabinet over there. And every time some people came over, you come over and have a drink of rye. You can drink a rye. The second one was half full of rum, and I got rid of it that way. And it got to the point that people refused to have drink at my places. I had a friend of mine who used to go to dances and stuff like that. He carried empty Mickey with him. And, you'd leave a drink on the table and he'd pour it into his Mickey, put it in his pocket and go home. He got caught. And his reputation would never... He went to the Legion there one time and he searched him. See if he had an empty bottle with him. But those were the glory days. They were good in them days. People think did this. But nowadays, everything has changed. The laws have changed. The world has changed. And you have to live with the change. You don't drink and drive anymore. I know people do. Every day is there in the paper there's somebody getting drinking, driving, and whatever.
So another topic, because you're talking about carpenter, did your dad build your camp at Fire Hill?
The first one, yes.
Oh.
The first one was Pine Portage built the dam,
Right.
And they were selling all their used lumber from there. My first camp was built with all through used lumber, And the second one there, I built it out of all new stuff. I figured to myself, there's no more used stuff. But I had a big fireplace in there and everything else.
Because if I remember, there was quite a few Finnish people had camps at Fire Hill.
Yeah.
Right. Was it hard to get a lot out there?
Only Huntus and myself, we wanted the same bay. So we bought it, and it was in his name, because lots are certain size. And so we just, gentleman's agreement. So everything was in his name, and he got the bills, for the taxes and whatever, and we shared all the stuff. And then he moved out. So, and John Tennis was named next door. John, my marriage was, it's finished at the same time, and I just could not afford to buy his share at the time because I had to buy a house and back, whatever. And anyway, John Dennis bought it, and John's a good neighbor and whatever stuff. In fact, he's done my lawn order. The son-in-law's done my lawn for the last 4 years. But it's good. Firehill Lake, there's a lot of Finlanders out there. And Tumala's, and was a baker that was down there. Art Ashworth was there. Archie Tumala, Archie Sala.
And you know, Ray, that Mark still comes out to that camp.
Oh, yeah.
Mark still owns it.
Yeah.
And he still comes out
Yeah.
there. So
Yeah.
that camps, those camps have been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
What years might have you?
1950s, eh?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tore mine down, I rebuilt it, built a new one there. I haven't been out there. My van was a recall, and he took it down to, my son took it down to, my grandson I should say, took it down to Elm Koistinen's garage, and they, CAA picked it up and took it to Thunder Bay. I haven't seen it since. That was last June. Chris was down in beginning of August, and he went uptown looking. They said, we don't have a car. He went in the parking lot and he found it. He went in there and he raised whatever you raised. And I got a phone call from there just before Labor Day weekend that they're waiting for a part. It cost me $2,300 to get my car back. And they virtually rebuilt the thing. I'm still waiting for it. I got a phone call just before Labor Day weekend that they're waiting for this one part, so then they'll bring it down to me.
So when you were at Firehill, what about fishing out there?
There's a lot of perch in there, and then there's pickerel in there. And there was, rainbow trout in there.
Oh.
But a lot of times you sitting on the deck there in the front or out looking out the window, the bay was shallow, all of a sudden, and schools of fish would come through there, stuff, And there was a goose, 2 geese in there, and they mated. This is going back, 10, 11 years, They mated. And in the evenings you could see the goose, it's 4 little ones, the mom and dad and the little ones going behind them, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
Lovely. A lot of the stuff you don't see anymore. It's so commercialized out there now, it's not funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you got any memories of early school time here in Nipigon?
During the wartime, they used to give us little war saving stamps. And I had a perfect attendance, so I got one of those things. I wrote a perfect math paper in grade 3, grade 6, grade 9, 100. Bernard Garshowitz. David Akagi and I wrote grade 9 perfect math papers. We each got 100. And George O'Neill was principal, and I forget the name of the math teacher there. Anyway, he says, where were you guys sitting? And we were sitting on a couple of chairs, 3 seats away. And he says, I said, why? You both wrote perfect math papers. You got 100. Did you copy each other's, And I says, no. I says, he tried to come over, but I kept pushing him away. I said, what was the name of the teacher? But anyway, he got perfect math papers. I wrote 3 of them in my career. Chemistry, I could not get chemistry. Grade 12, I failed my chemistry test. George O'Neill was the principal. And he called me aside. He says, are you going to grade 13? I says, no. I'm going to work. I hope to work with Hudson Bay because I enjoyed working with Hudson Bay. I was part-time there for 2 years. And he said, are you sure? And I said, I'm sure. Congratulations, you just passed your chemistry. And I was there. And there's 7 of us, 2 guys and 3 or 5 girls in grade 12. And I was claimed I was the 2nd highest boy in classics in grade 12. There's only 2 boys there. Now, Viola Pionin married Alan Acid. What's her name? Oh, here we go again. Phone me at midnight, I got the names. There was one girl that did not pass. And 7 of us up there, George O'Neill says to me, he says, what are we going to do? I mean, you can't humiliate her in front of the whole town. I said, nobody has to know. So graduating class, she stood with us up there, and she knew she didn't pass. And after the scene was all over, the dance was all over and everything else, she come over, put arms around me and says, thank you. But she was part of our class the whole year, and then that was it.
That's a good way to end that little bit of interview then. That's,
Yeah.
right? Lots of changes, but George's name lasts forever, doesn't
Oh,
it?
yeah.
When it comes
Oh, yeah.
to school
Oh,
time.
yeah.
Right.